So I started doing the podcast, as I say, in the middle of the pandemic because I got bored with making banana bread and needed to be out of the way. So I came
This
and started.
podcast is also a pandemic child, so I will not say anything about that.
Oh, I'm glad it's not just me. That is brilliant.
Oh, no. Actually, not. Like, I had an interview last week, and she has another podcast called Expat, and she also started during pandemic. I think there was a lot of people starting podcasts during pandemic, so don't worry.
Yeah, yeah.
The difference is who is still alive and who is who of this podcast is still recording, which is also a whole
That's very
different topic.
true because I'm not. Because in 2022, I had to have an operation on my throat and managed to do a few more episodes for in 2023, but that was it. It was too much. So I stopped recording my podcast in 2023. I still get emails. Can I be on your podcast? Go and have a look. But because the topics are evergreen, they'll still be useful. The only ones that aren't are, being, sympathising with people during the pandemic and such, and talking about the pandemic. But in general, they're all evergreen. So yeah, so the podcast was a thing to reach different people, and people who prefer to listen rather than read. So it was an interesting experiment.
For you, it was like putting like pieces together, like our different articles from these 400 impressive articles that you had in there, but also doing a little bit more research. You also interviewed people, like you also did the guest episodes.
Only about 3 or 4, because it was my intention that it was me.
Makes sense.
That's one of the few things I've had strategy with. But it was a way of summarising the many, many articles. So on a topic of choosing a school, there's probably 15 articles that just appeared into one episode. So
nice, very cool. What about the Expatability Club itself? When it comes, is that the part where it comes more like coach related? Is that the like when it comes and because I know you have like master classes now, you're doing also one-on-one calls with people. Like, is all of that coming through that?
Master classes, yeah, kind of. Master classes are the most commonly asked questions that I have on one-to-one calls. So it was expat guilt for a while. And then should I stay or should I go? And those are the main ones. So they just get recorded and then they're uploaded. Mm-hmm. The Expatability Club is undergoing a lovely new, a reincarnation, if you like, because I'm moving out of expat child. My child's left me and gone and grown up and stuff. And so I don't want to talk about children anymore. No, that's not quite the case. But I want to expand. And because life changed for so many people over COVID, and so many people now work from home, and they've seen the other side. They want to work from anywhere. So I'm helping create location independence and move abroad. And so I can do the whole move abroad thing, and I can do the whole location independence, bring them all together into the Expatability Club. And it's an information and advice hub club membership. So that's what the current focus in life is. I should do one for expat pets, shouldn't I?
Oh yeah, you should definitely. I mean, you have experience with it, so that's the next niche to explore.
They changed rules too much. So yeah, it's the club is a sort of a distilling again of all of the information and insight that I've had over the years that I've got, plus extras from incredible experts in their field, and a chance to talk with me one-on-one and get my advice and info without coming on a one-to-one call with me. I need to protect my time. I need to protect my voice, and doing one-to-ones is very intense. So they're safe, for other people.
Makes sense. Very nice. So that's the project that opened a little bit the niche that you were saying. No, not.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, not just parents anymore. What I was finding was it did start off with parents and about their children, but then also expat partners. Those of us who move overseas as a trailing spouse. We hate that phrase, but it's the one that gets used. So we quite often have to give up our jobs, our careers, to support our other half. And sometimes the company that they're working for are great, sometimes they're not. Sometimes they offer you a job, sometimes you're not suited to working for them. And it can be quite a shock to the system and to identity. You're just sort of, bit of a +1 is the new phrase I've heard, which I'm throwing around all over the place. So, yeah, so it started moving to expat partners. And now anybody who wants to move overseas, anybody who wants to be, van life, digital nomad, all this sort of stuff. So,
Cool. And I will ask one last question probably, as we can close this section also, and it would be like, how does a day for you look like with all these products? Like, what do you do like normally with it? Are you really like how spending time writing articles for one or the other? How is your normal
no,
day like?
no, I don't write articles anymore. So Expat Child, it wasn't paused. I mean, it's all still incredibly relevant. I'll update every now and again and republish and so on. I don't record any podcasts anymore, and everything else kind of ticks over. I mean, automations are incredible for social media. And yeah, I don't have an average working day. I've written down in answer to your, how does a work day look for you? Herding cats.
Paradise? Where do I need to sign in?
Yeah, so it isn't something that I'm not very good at blocking out time and
Okay.
having a set day. I sort of have certain things that I do every week, twice a week, whatever. But it's not even reactive. It's I'll have meetings planned, and I'll have meetings with my mentors planned, and that's about as far as I go. And then I'll just sort of respond to emails, or I'll have a brainwave of something. But I'm not actually producing content for the website or the podcast anymore. And those were the real time sucks. And they had to be released into the wild for the sake of my sanity. But because
Feels
they're
familiar.
because they're evergreen, they're valid and they're relevant. So just a few tweaks here and there, and they work on their own. So
Good.
they don't need updating much.
Cool. Then with that, I think the last question is always more or less the same. I suppose you responded a little bit about it. Whoever is interested on checking the Expatability podcast, it's out there. The Expat Child articles, the whole website, it's out there. So for whoever it's interested in this, it's still available, and it will continue to be available. But right now, your focus is a little bit more in the Expatability Club. So I suppose that would be the place to find you if someone wants to find you around.
If people want to find me, just search online. For my name, I am everywhere. Or you can email me at hello@expatability.net. Hopefully that comes across okay on the sound. But yeah, just search for my name. You'll find me. There's only one of me. So.
Well, with that said, thanks a lot. Thank you very much, Carole, for taking the time and the boys to take 1 hour of your time and your boys to come back to the podcast scene. a little bit for a certain amount of time. It has been a real pleasure to have you. It's a very incredible story.
It's an honour to be here, and it's so much more fun answering questions than trying to think of my own things. It's absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much.
If you liked this short video out of the full episode, you can find the link to it around here and in the description below. Of course, if you are also interested in checking out other episodes, please subscribe and like.